Hi everyone, I'm Donna Stellhorn, your practical astrologer, and today we are talking about the new moon. It's on April 27th. It's at 7 degrees of Taurus, and by the time we have this new moon, Venus has gone direct and it's starting to separate from Saturn. What does this mean for you? That's what we're going to talk about. Welcome everyone. This video starts with a short overview, then we're going to talk about your sign and the predictions for love and money, and then at the end of this video there is a short bit on activating your part of fortune, so you're going to want to stay all the way to the end. And if you would like a copy of your chart so that you can follow along in these videos, I'll send you a PDF. There's a link in the description. Okay, let's take a look at this new moon chart. So I upload these new moon videos about 2 weeks before the new moon, and that means that you're probably watching this video right as Venus is tracking along with Saturn. So the day after the full moon, back on April 13th, Venus went direct at 24 Pisces and Saturn was sitting at 26 Pisces. And so Venus is love and money and all the things you desire, and then Saturn is a brick wall. And so what this means for people, in general, is that everyone has the feeling that they're not getting what they want. So when a planet turns direct, it starts out moving very, very slowly, and Saturn already moves very slowly, and so now Venus and Saturn are doing this very slow waltz together as they go forward. They're almost like chained together. Now Venus would like to lead. Venus would like to lead you towards more money, better relationships, and everything that you want. But Saturn, the planet of hard work and discipline and restriction, is holding on to Venus very tightly now. So by Monday, April 21, both Venus and Saturn are at 26 degrees of Pisces. And now the North Node is there too. Now the North Node is your life path. And so Venus is what you want. Saturn's the strict father telling you what you need to do. So, and then with the North Node, you need to follow through because this is the direction to go. So in other words, over this 2-week period on the approach to the new moon, the correct way to go is the hard way. And if you're uncertain about which direction, take the uphill route. That's going to be the best way to get to what you want. So from April 21 to April 24, we're really doing that energy. And then on April 24, Venus starts to separate and move past Saturn. And from there, then the hard work that you've been doing starts to yield some rewards. Basically, at that point, you eat your vegetables and dessert comes. And then we're going to see Venus start to pick up some speed. So by April 27, Venus is a full degree separating from Saturn. And that means that they are becoming two separate entities, that the rewards are no longer tied to how hard you're working, how austere you are. And then by April 30, Venus is in Aries. And not only are Venus and Saturn separated, but at this point they're in different signs. And so now they really feel like there's some relief here. And so people basically all over the world are going to breathe this sigh of relief, especially those in the stock market. So because things feel a little easier. But don't be fooled. Venus is going to run smack dab into Neptune in Aries. And this is, such a desire for relief that people go overboard. And that is, the person who has one drink will have 10. The person who spends $10 may spend $500. The Venus-Neptune conjunction is like a scammer's dream because the scammer can promise anything and the person's ready to click. So you want to give Venus a few days, even though you may be feeling better, but give Venus a few days to get past Neptune and past that confusing energy. And then you can say, okay, now things will settle down, smoother waters are ahead, and we have this calmer month of May that we're going to enter into. So the bottom line here is that we're not going to really feel this energy of Taurus, which is about contentment and comfort and a steady paycheck. We don't really feel that until we get a few days into May. In this 2-week run-up to the new moon, be very aware that the best way to get what you want is to be disciplined, to be focused, to be working hard on a goal. And then as you do things, then you're going to start to see the rewards as Venus pops out and gets past both Saturn and Neptune. Okay, Sagittarius, this new moon is kind of reminding you that while you're a big picture person, that you have goals, you have these things you want to achieve, that the success comes from breaking things down into the smallest parts and getting things done every single day. So this new moon is lighting up your area of routines and processes and workflow. And so it is this reminder that when you do something in increments, you can do amazing things. Now, this is coming at the same time that Venus and Saturn are separating in your house of home and family. So this may have been that there was some difficulties at home, and now those are starting to clear up, or that you just did a move and so you're finishing unpacking, or you're doing some renovations and trying to get those finished up. And those kind of things can disrupt your daily routine. So that could mean that you're not doing your daily yoga practice, you're not writing your morning pages, or you're not getting your exercise in, or whatever that routine is. So now with this Taurus new moon, it's time to get back to that routine. And if you would like to know more about what's ahead for you in 2025 and 2026, I do readings. There's a link in the description. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, Mars is making a semi-square to Jupiter. And that's an interesting aspect because it has some friction to it. But being that you're Sagittarius, you are not really dissuaded by a little bit of friction. In fact, sometimes you can consider it as a little bit of an adventure or adding to the excitement. This type of friction could be that there's quite a bit of distance between the two of you, like you meet someone and they live in the next town or the next state. So, or their schedule is very difficult. You work the day shift, they work the night shift, or perhaps there is some other obstacle. Maybe one of you is not quite out of your old relationship yet, but now you've found each other. And so this could facilitate moving forward on something that maybe one of you have been procrastinating on. So the energy here is good, but like I said, it's got a caveat to it. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, Mercury is not making an aspect with Jupiter, but Jupiter's in Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury, so you have a hidden aspect. And you're going to have this just a little bit longer. This is dissipating. So as soon as Jupiter flips into Cancer, then you don't have this connection and you'll have to wait for an aspect. So this is the perfect time to work out anything that you have going with your partner, whether this is an ongoing problem or something where you just want to get on the same page about, like a future goal or your finances or how you raise the kids, or this is where you want to come together as a united front to deal with something external. Now, when it comes to your money, you pull money from Saturn, which is sitting there with Venus. So if Saturn is all of the work of, digging for the treasure, Venus is the treasure. So, but there was an interesting article recently by Dan Coe that was talking about, how to make $1 million. And, the first half of the article was basically saying, it's not easy. And it's not supposed to be easy. And there's never going to be a super simple way to do this. It all comes down to effort and providing something to the public that the public wants. So, and it's not about just figuring out what other people want, but what you can do and what you're good at that other people want. And because that's the sweet spot when you're doing something you love to do and it is desired by the public, you have a match. So, and this is very, very possible for you. I mean, Sagittarius energy, you know a lot of things, you're willing to do adventure, you have a lot of experiences, so you can do this. So when it comes to your money right now, it is thinking about what you're willing to do the work for to dig up that treasure. What are you willing to dig for? Now, when it comes to money from business or from investments, Saturn is not making an aspect with the moon. So this means you're making about the same as usual. This is a time where you do well to work on your business, to work on your investments for future returns. So focus not on what you're making at the moment, but about the foundation that you're setting up and the infrastructure you're building so that you can make profits in the future. Now, when it comes to money derived from career, so that's like a paycheck, it's an entirely different story. Saturn is making a conjunction with Venus, and so the opportunities to make more money at your career is very strong. This is a time where you do want to ask for the perks that you're looking for, whether it's work at home or some sort of investment opportunity, or you want a better position. But if you're just looking for more money, you have that right now in the chart. So prepare yourself, because this is Saturn, and get ready to answer the questions of, how have you helped the company? How well is your team doing, etc. But you could make more money or gain a better job that gives you more money with this aspect. This is the third section of this video, and I have a couple of announcements, and we're going to then talk about the part of fortune and activating that energy. Every month I offer a free class by Zoom. It's called New Month Wishes. It is on the first day of the month at 12 p.m. Pacific time. The next one is on May 1st. And now there is a much easier way to register for this class. So there's a link in the description to register. In this class, we talk about the energies for the month, and then we write our wishes together, and then we energize these together. It's a really fun class. It is free, and so I hope you come. I also want to expand this channel and do more videos about astrology, feng shui, everything, all the different things. And so I have opened this up to memberships. So if you'd like to support me and support the channel, click the join button to find out more information. Now, the part of fortune on your chart is represented by a circle with an X in it. It's kind of like the treasure map X. And the part of fortune is actually a mathematical calculation between sun, moon, and ascendant. It is very helpful for people who don't know their birth time, because the part of fortune can be used as an alternate ascendant. Back in the old days, it was pretty rare that people wrote down a birth time. So the part of fortune was widely used for this purpose. And by fortune in this case, we mean opportunities to make money, to make good connections, to be in the right place at the right time, and to receive what you want. Activation of part of fortune comes through transits, and so any strong transit would affect it. If you would consider maybe a transit from Mars, that would be, then activity would happen. So for an activation by transit, I would do 2 degrees on approach, 1 degree separating. So that means if your part of fortune is 10 degrees, when Mars gets to 8, then it is approaching by 2 degrees. And then when Mars gets past 11, it has separated by 1 degree. And so that would be 2 degrees on approach, 1 degree separating. And that's the time period where you would feel that energy. For a transit of Mars, that would be about a week. If you're interested in how Mars and other transits could affect your part of fortune, leave me a comment in the description and I'll do a video on it. You can also use different spiritual means to activate your part of fortune, specifically crystals. Crystals attract energy and they create a focus, and so they are very useful for connecting with this energy. So I have a little list here of different crystals that are associated with the different signs. These are not the only crystals you could use. So these are just common crystals that you probably have already that I recommend. There's a full list of these crystals in the description, but we'll go through them really quickly. And that is Aries is Tiger's Eye, Taurus is Citrine, Gemini is Adventurine, Cancer is Moonstone, Leo is Sunstone, Virgo is Moss Agate, Libra is Turquoise, Scorpio is Black Tourmaline, Sagittarius is Carnelian, Capricorn is Green Calcite, Aquarius is Rutilated Quartz, and Pisces is Amethyst. Again, there is a full list of these in the description, and you do not have to use these particular crystals. These are just suggestions. So when you're working on money opportunities, when you are dealing with business matters, or anything where you want to make a deeper connection with someone or get some money, you want to have this crystal nearby. Maybe it's on your desk, maybe you're wearing it as a piece of jewelry, or perhaps you are holding it in your hand while you make these calls. But that helps you focus the energy and tells the universe that you are activating your part of fortune. If you don't know where your part of fortune is, I can send you a PDF of your chart. There's a link in the description. Just put the words part of fortune in the subject line. I also have a video about the part of fortune going through the houses. There's a link to that in the description. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Check out the memberships. Subscribe to the newsletter. It's free, and I will see you in the next video.